Hello and welcome back. Now, in our part 5, we talked about the fact that PLR is a number of different kinds of leverage depending on how you want to use it: teaching, product, bonus, tools. And we talked about membership leverage, and that's really where we want to focus on in this video. Now, in order to create your own membership site where people are going to be able to actually get content on a regular basis, there's a really simple way to do it, and then there's a way for you to do it with software. I'm going to explain the simple way to do your membership in this video. Now, for purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use WordPress, and the reason we're going to use WordPress, it's fairly easy to get a site put up and then fairly easy to customize. So if you're going to start from scratch, even if you don't know a lot about WordPress, starting with WordPress is going to be a great way to be able to create even this membership that we're talking about here. Now, you'll notice here that there is a setting in WordPress. If we go down the dashboard in the settings area and we go to the reading area, and there's a button here that says discourage search engines from indexing this site. What that means is that the pages, when you create them, will not show up in search engines, so people won't be able to find them from outside. And so what you want to do here is you want to then start creating this membership site in a way so that people cannot just search for the content and then find it. That's really going to be the starting point in creating this membership. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create new posts. And we create a new post, and we're going to create one post for every month. So we might say this is August of 2016, and this is going to be the content. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to put a link in here. We're going to put a link in here that says here. Now, this is really simple, but you're going to be delivering the content based on what you promise. Here is your August content. Right? Again, no frills, no fluff. It's going to be simple for the buyer and simple for you. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to link to the August content. Now, obviously, this is not going to be showing up in the search engines. And the other thing, too, is even though this is going to be the title of your post, so that people can't guess it, you want to make sure that your URL is unique. And so you might add in something there that is hard to guess. Right? So then people won't necessarily be able to go in and guess your URL. Now what we need to do is we need to add to this, we need to put a link here. And whatever your content is, wherever your content is hosted, if you have your content hosted in Google Drive, if you have it hosted in Microsoft OneDrive, all you're going to do is to create a link here to that actual content. You create insert link, and you're going to link to that content here. Now, the only way people are going to be able to get that link is if they've come to this page. So unless someone is inside your membership giving away your content, it's going to be fairly secure. Now, there are ways, and there are software programs and even WordPress plugins that will secure this content, right? But if you're just trying to set up a membership that is simple to deliver, this is going to be the content. This is where they're going to actually get it. We're going to click publish. And so now this content, actually we didn't create a link. I'm just going to put in here google.com just so we'll have a live link. And click update. Okay, so now if we go and view this post, it's going to say here's your August content. And they're going to click that link, and they're going to be taken to the download link that you give them. So now that's really the first part of this process. And so what we're going to do is that every month we're going to make sure that our customer actually gets this link that we create for them. And we're going to do that through our autoresponder. Now I'm going to go into Get Response right now. And I'm going to create a brand new campaign. And I'm going to say monthly content. Right? We're going to create a monthly content. We're going to create the campaign. Actually, they want it differently. We're going to call that maybe something unique. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create autoresponders. So we don't want to send broadcast emails. We want to send autoresponders. So we're going to create an autoresponder here so that the day they sign up, the day they become part of our list, they're going to get an email immediately, right? So we're going to say this is day 1 of the membership. Going to save that and publish, and then we're going to write our we're gonna go ahead and create our email. We're going to call this day 1 of the membership. Okay, this is going to appear in our list of messages. That's the way GetResponse does it. This is what the customer is going to see. Day 1 of the membership. We're going to click save. Then we're going to go to the next step. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep a very simple template. Right, I'm going to go start from scratch. If I want to use one of those templates there, I can. If I want it to look good, but again, what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to make sure the customer gets their content. Now, I'm going to go here and get response. I'm going to eliminate all of this. I'm going to eliminate a lot of this for now. I'm going to send them a personal message, so I'm going to personalize this and get response. I'm going to send that to their first name, and I'm going to say thanks for signing up. Here's your August content. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually go and get that link. Now remember, the only way they're going to be able to get this link is if they get inside of your membership. So if your content is being shared around, it's probably going to be being shared by someone who's buying it, right? So for the most part, you don't have to worry so much about people being able to get inside of here. Again, people are paying for this, and if they choose to start sharing it, that's something you're not necessarily going to be able to prevent fully. So what we're going to do is we're going to then link to this content, and so that everybody that signs up day 1, they're going to get this content. Right, so now we have our message. Now, for the sake of your autoresponder, you do want to make sure your plain text email is going to read the same. Right? Let's see. I don't like that I don't really like that so much. I'm just going to copy this then. And we're going to put this inside of the plain text box also. Right, so there's our plain text. In case your user has plain text email, I'm going to get rid of this image box. We don't really want that. And so they're going to get this. Everybody that signs up, that ends up buying the product, they're going to get that on month 1. We're just going to go to step 1, the next step. And once we click next step, we actually have what we need in order to have this message sent to people when they sign up. We're just going to make sure it publishes. And then we'll have our first membership content delivered. Now, what we need to do for every month is we need to create a new message, and we need to create a new post. So create a new post, new message, and what happens is when people join, they'll actually get the content on the day that they actually sign up, as opposed to getting it right away. Now, they will not see the content. You have to make sure that they cannot guess the URL. But it's a very simple way of being able to deliver the content to people on a routine basis. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to this last hands-on video. And in the last section, we talked about the fact that we want to make sure that when we're purchasing, we want to make sure that we're purchasing, not substituting for the things that we really need to do in order to build our business. And one of the things that we talked about here is we talked about the book Deep Work. And we talked about that with respect to the concept of scheduling interaction and making sure that it's focused. Now, this book is by a gentleman named Cal Newport, and it's actually written on Kindle. It's also available on Audible, and it's also available in most public libraries for free. The concept of the book is how can we get the most focused time in on the work that we're trying to do? And he has several strategies in how to do that. And so we talked about this with respect to interacting in groups and interacting in products rather than actually doing the work that's really going to generate content and generate cash for us. And so you want to keep in line, are you really getting the work done? And this book will help you to think through that process and whether or not the interaction that you're getting is the kind that will generate profit. And again, if you're going to buy in order to generate the kind of profit that you really want, you might want to consider some level of coaching, or if the information product actually does it for you, then get the information product. But again, the thinking that you want to do can be developed in this concept in this particular book. We also talked about the book Peak by Anders Ericsson, where he discussed this idea of deliberate practice. And we talked about it with respect to making sure that when you purchase software, that it's really giving you the kind of automation that you want, and that it's really building your business, doing things for you that you cannot do or that you could do, but that the software helps you to do it faster. However, not looking at it in a way to avoid understanding your market, to avoid understanding how to reach your customer, or to avoid understanding your customer in the first place. And so the book, like the others that we have talked about, is available on Amazon, in Kindle, in Audible, and it's typically available in most public libraries for free. And the book is really the cornerstone of the philosophy that Malcolm Gladwell talked about in the book Outliers. The theory that he talked about in that book was based on the work of this gentleman. And I guess this is the first time that he's actually put his real thoughts in print and real thoughts in action. And so what you'll see here is that what's most important is for us to practice deliberately, to get feedback on what we're doing, and then make adjustments. And that process helps us to improve in every little thing that we're trying to do. And it's especially going to help us as we are solo business owners or even managers of other people. So this book will help to shape how you make your purchases so that when you make your software purchases, you're not making them to do something that you can only do by getting better at what you do, but to get it so that it helps us to be more focused as well as to be leveraged in our business. We talked about the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, and the Blue Ocean Strategy is really about going to some place where there is not a product currently, but that there's a market need. And so we want to make sure that when we use PLR, that we change it into something that the market needs. And that's what we talked about in the Avoid Substitutes section. And that we want to make sure that we are still in the marketplace understanding it, still doing the actual work. This book is also available in all the forms, typically at most public libraries. It's a little older. It's been updated a number of times, but the concept is still the same, that we as business owners and entrepreneurs, we want to swim where there is not red ocean. And the idea about red ocean is that if sharks are there, they're feeding on people, and of course there's blood in the water, and that's where all the sharks go. But we want to go where there's blue ocean, where there are not a lot of sharks there, but that the market is there waiting for a solution for a problem that it has. So if we understand, the more we understand the market, the more we're going to be able to take our PLR to meet that demand, even if we have to go back and change some of it in order to give the market what it wants. We also talked about the book Smarter, Faster, Better, and making sure that we are not buying information instead of making a decision. And so we have to have in mind what it is that we're trying to accomplish, and to think about this in terms of every 7 days. Every 7 days, we should have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish, not only for that week, but what we're trying to accomplish in our business, and that would not be vague. That should not be that we're just trying to make more money or we're trying to make another $2,000. We should have a pretty square goal in mind in how we're doing that. And we need to have an idea of what should be happening every day and some kind of minimum viable activity. So what is it that we can do or we cannot leave the day without doing in order to accomplish that goal? And that's where we kind of brought in the concepts in the book Smarter, Faster, Better. In the book, there's a concept called locus of control, and that we want to remain in control of the process of driving our business. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to be out of control so that if a launch happens that we're going to jump on it because we don't want to miss it. We want to make sure that the business drives what it is that we need. And so we always want to be inside of that space of what do I need to do in 7 days? What do I have to happen? What do I need to make happen in order to get to that goal? And what's my minimum viable activity? And sometimes there's going to be a launch that'll fit into that. And other times we'll have to buy things that are outside of that launch. But if we're moving in a particular direction, we'll be able to avoid the substitute of buying when we really should be making a decision about how we're going to build and grow our business. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, one of the things that we have talked about is mentioning the difference between proof and social proof. And so while we're on this sales letter, I do want to highlight what we're talking about so that you can do the same thing in your sales letters. And so you can see how this works psychologically on the person who is actually reading the sales letter, or even if they're not even processing it, you know what's happening. So let's go into this sales letter because none of this is really all that random. And Anthony Morrison actually does sales letters and actually runs traffic from television. And so you know that if he's going to get involved in something, it's got to have a sense that it's going to convert. And you want to have an idea that when you start sending traffic to a particular sales page, you put a lot of work into your product. You want to know that if the only thing holding the person back would be your sales letter, you want to make sure your sales letter is done to the best of your ability. So let's talk about these two concepts of proof and social proof in this particular video. Now, you're going to notice here that both Anthony and Luke, they're going to mention that they are 6 to 7 figure income earners. Right now, that's not necessarily verifiable in a sense, but you probably have a sense that maybe they're probably telling the truth. We could probably say that that could be considered to be proof of what they're trying to do is to establish credibility. But again, this is an element of proof, and that element of proof needs to be in your sales letter. The other thing you're going to see is this, right? Facebook Live is the fastest growing video streaming service. That's probably verifiable, right? Now, they're not going to give you statistics here, but they're making a claim about Facebook. It has nothing to do with their product, has nothing to do with whether or not their product is going to work. What they're selling you on here is that Facebook Live is a place that you want to be. Setting you up that you need to get this product so that you can be someplace where people are actually going to be, where the fastest growing video streaming service is going to be. And so you are going to see here that they're going to make a claim here. And you and I, whether or not we read this, we do process it. Facebook live streams are watched 3 times as long as any other video. With Facebook Live being the fastest growing live streaming service in the world, it's something you need to be on right now. Now again, these two statements, right? Facebook Live streams are watched 3 times as long as any other device. Facebook Live, and again, they make the claim again. They're re-emphasizing this fact that this is something that's happening. Now, the other thing they're going to do is, again, we're going to do more proof, right? And this is more proof that live streaming is a place you want to be. So they're talking about live streaming. They're talking about Periscope. They're talking about Snapchat. They're talking about Twitch and Blab and YouTube Live and webinars. And so this, again, is the concept. They're talking about the concept of live streaming. Again, live streaming is big. That's the proof. Facebook live streaming is big. That's even more proof. And so now, since their product is about Facebook Live, you're going to get the idea, or you're going to get the sense that, well, man, maybe this is someplace I need to be. Now, you're going to see here in this image that they have taken the proof and they've made it visual, right? So they've got more information about live streaming. Again, as you move down the sales letter, what they are trying to do is to make sure that you understand exactly what's happening with live streaming so that you'll be set up to think about, well, maybe I do need to get involved with Facebook Live if I'm not involved. And if I am involved in Facebook Live, then I want to consider this product. Maybe I already know this information. So let's go on. Now, even though they're talking about a benefit, personal branding, they're actually mixing this with an element of proof and social proof. In other words, look, Dwayne The Rock is on here, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson is on here. So if he can be on here and he figures it's Facebook Live is worth being on, maybe I need to be on it too. That's the idea. That's what they're trying to communicate here. I mean, there is more in this sales letter, and it's a great example of how you're going to use proof and social proof. Now, let's move on. Again, this sounds like a personal testimony. This sounds like something that actually happened. I noticed Mark Zuckerberg himself do a behind-the-scenes tour of Facebook. But really what this is it's more proof, right? They're adding proof. In other words, Mark Zuckerberg himself is actually using it. Now, you might say, well, Mark Zuckerberg is head of Facebook. He would do that. But again, all this is really doing psychologically is it's saying that, hey, this big celebrity uses live streaming. This big celebrity uses live streaming for their company. They're using Facebook Live. Why are you not using it? Once again, you see more proof here in the form of benefits. So this is really powerful because instead of giving you benefit bullets, they're actually giving you benefit bullets laden with social proof. So when you do your sales letter, you can consider that you can actually give benefit bullets, but you can add in the fact that other people are using this same thing. And he didn't necessarily go and get the people that are using his product. Understand that. So this is not a testimonial. This is, hey, other people are using this medium. Take a look at this. And then they're adding that to your standard benefit bullet and then giving it graphics on top of it, right? So, and the graphics are not hard to create. The graphics are really just screenshots, right? So again, this element of proof is over and over in this product, and as you move through the sales letter, you're being psychologically conditioned that this is really something that you want to consider. Okay, more social proof or more proof, right? Statistics have shown that Facebook that people view Facebook live streams 300% longer than any other form of video. As the best part of Facebook Live, Facebook never deletes your video, right? So again, they're telling you about Facebook Live. They're giving you like a feature and a benefit, but they're actually saying, again, this is more proof that this is some place that you need to be. So once again, you're really being bombarded with proof and social proof all over again. Now again, here's another claim. I don't know if this is verifiable. You could probably go back to his Facebook page to figure out, hey, I actually used my own product and this is what I did. Now, this is someone who is using Facebook Live. They're the vendor of the product, and they're talking about their experience with Facebook Live. So once again, if you're not sold on Facebook Live, you're going to be by the end of this sales letter. And then you'll start talking about, then there's Anthony Morrison coming in and talking about training. So you'll recognize here that this is the problem being introduced to you, and then they're going to start talking about some of the evidence that occurred, right, when they actually used their own product. So there aren't a lot of testimonials at this point, but they're telling you, well, hey, this is what happened when we used our own product. Once again, very powerful, especially because they've already gotten results with what their product actually does. Again, if you start thinking about this, this is really one of the best ways graphically, or even if you were to just write it out, this is going to have an effect on the people who are reading your sales letter. Now, we see screenshots and Uh, and lots of people say that you can fake screenshots. Maybe they fake screenshots. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? But there's just more. It's more psychological proof. It's graphical, and it's not the only element that this relies on. If this was at the very top, if you just said, well, how to make $304 or $400 on average every day, and the whole page was relying upon that, then you might think that's subject to question. But this is just a small part of the proof. If they didn't have that, they'd still have social proof. But once again, this is really just adding to the proof of the entire page. And all that happens before they introduce the product to you in the sales letter, right? So once again, if you understand proof and how you can implement it in your sales letter, this is really, again, how the brain works. They're establishing credibility. They're establishing the fact that this is a place you want to be, and then introducing the product to you. Now, one of the best elements of proof is going to be this little demo here. And so you're going to see this here. You can turn on this demo, and you're going to actually see, and we're not going to go through the whole thing here, but they're demoing the product. They're showing it to you. They're showing it to you at work, showing it to you doing what it is supposed to do. Again, this is something that anyone can do. Anyone can show their product at work. And again, it's working on the person who is on the sales letter and reading it. And all of that happens before you even get into features and benefits. All the other things are just style and features and benefits. This is the thing that you have traditionally heard you've got to do in your copy, what's going to be in the product and what people are going to get. Again, you're going to do all that stuff anyway, right? But understand the basis of proof and social proof in this sales letter, and I think you'll understand how you can beef up what it is that you're doing and what it is that you can actually add to in terms of urgency before a person even gets to the point where they're looking at price. The price isn't given until the very end because the value needs to be built up. And of course, some people are not even going to read this sales letter, but some people are. And the people who are going to read through the sales letter, or at least scroll through it, they're going to be given a powerful sense of value before they even get to the end. Okay, so 2 sets of buy buttons then, PS, PPS, and then that's the end of the sales letter. So I hope that this has been helpful for you in terms of being able to dive into the psychology of a sales letter, how you can be more effective in how you write it, and especially understanding the elements of proof and social proof. And one of the things that is necessary to conclude this video by saying is this. You'll notice that there are no testimonials on this page. So testimonials are not so much the issue. The issue is providing people with proof that the concept works, social proof that this product has worked for some people, and the social proof is actually generated by the people who created the product. So you don't have to have testimonials if you have fantastic proof and if you have proof that the concept is going to work for people because of the scientific evidence that people are on, in this case, Facebook Live, whatever it is you're talking about. You want to have those elements in your sales letter. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.